Something strange is going on behind the scenes, and if what fans are saying turns out to be true, the WNBA could be in serious trouble. A shocking rumor just exploded online, claiming Caitlin Clark, yes, the face of women's basketball, right now, was spotted meeting privately with a European basketball team. Not at a press event, not in some post-game media appearance, but at a quiet, off-the-radar dinner, away from cameras, and away from her team. And that's where the story takes a wild turn. Because this wasn't just any dinner. It supposedly happened just hours after one of the most controversial WNBA games of the season, when fans were already accusing the league of failing to protect Clark after a brutal foul that left her sidelined. The timing couldn't have been worse or more suspicious. So now the question isn't if Caitlin Clark might leave the WNBA, it's when and why. The whole thing started like most viral stories do, quietly, almost invisibly. A barely noticed Instagram story from someone claiming to be a basketball scout popped up late one night. No blue check mark, no tagged location, just a dark photo of a Manhattan skyline and a caption that read, "Just saw Caitlin Clark having dinner with Euro team reps. She's not staying in the WNBA." That post disappeared in under an hour, but the internet never forgets. Screenshots started popping up in private Discord servers, basketball subreddits, and niche WNBA fan pages. At first, people were skeptical. It seemed too wild to be real. Why would Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest stars in the league, be meeting with European reps just weeks into her rookie season? But then came the second post, this time from someone claiming they saw her at the same restaurant. No photos again, but now it was 2 accounts, and suddenly, the internet flipped. By the next morning, the theory was everywhere. TikTok creators were piecing together footage of Clark leaving her hotel that night, speculating about her outfit, even zooming in on the people around her in paparazzi photos to see if they looked European. Twitter was flooded with wild claims. Clark's heading to Spain. You heard it here first. The WNBA did her dirty. She's taking her talent to Italy. Some fan accounts even started pulling up past interviews where Clark talked about loving her overseas tour in college, using it as evidence she's had this plan all along. The rumor wasn't just spreading, it was snowballing. It didn't help that all of this came just days after Caitlin suffered another brutal hit on the court. A nasty foul that wasn't even called. Fans were outraged. Pundits were asking tough questions about whether the league was doing enough to protect its star player. And then suddenly this rumor drops, suggesting she's already looking for a way out. It felt too perfect, too timely, which is exactly why people believed it. Because when the league feels broken, when the system looks rigged, and when fans are already angry, a story like this doesn't need to be true to catch fire. It just needs to feel possible. As the rumor spread like wildfire, the WNBA stayed completely silent. No official statement, no press release, no attempt to shut anything down. And that silence, it only made things worse, because in the absence of facts, speculation filled the vacuum. Fan accounts started demanding answers from the Indiana Fever. Sports talk shows, especially on YouTube and TikTok, began using phrases like Caitlin, Clark's exit plan, and the beginning of the end. Even former players weighed in, some brushing it off as internet noise, while others admitted they wouldn't be surprised if Clark was considering her options after everything she's been through already, and it's not hard to see why. Since stepping into the league, Caitlin has been at the center of almost every headline, some of them celebratory, but many of them exhausting. Hard fouls, unfair treatment from refs, public tension with other players, and fans constantly accusing the league of not doing enough to protect her. The pressure has been relentless, so when a rumor pops up suggesting she's looking overseas, it hits a nerve. But what really made this explode was how fans reacted. People weren't just gossiping, they were angry. Comment sections lit up with messages like, "Can you blame her? This league doesn't deserve her. If she leaves, the WNBA's done." Clark Watch started trending on Twitter. Reddit threads debated what team in Europe she'd play for. Some even speculated she might already have a pre-draft exit clause no one knew about. And the craziest part? All of this was happening without a single shred of verified proof. Just whispers and silence. And the longer the WNBA refused to comment, the louder the noise got. Eventually, the fire got hot enough that even the fact-checkers had to step in. Major outlets like Essentially Sports and Tuco finally addressed the viral rumor, and they didn't hold back. According to multiple sources, there was no actual evidence that Caitlin Clark had met with any European team. No photos, no names, no travel records. Nothing concrete, and then came the real nail in the coffin, her contract. Clark is signed to the Indiana Fever on a multi-year rookie deal, valued at over $338,000 for 4 years, not including bonuses and endorsements. She's locked in with the team until at least 2027, with very limited options to break that contract early, unless the franchise itself agrees to release her, which, let's be real, is never going to happen. So, if she did meet with a European team, it wasn't about leaving the WNBA tomorrow, at least not officially. Fact-checkers also reminded fans of a key reality. Caitlin Clark is a marketing machine in the US, from her multi-million-dollar Nike deal to partnerships with Gatorade, State Farm, and more. Moving overseas might boost her basketball earnings, but it would crush her brand visibility in the American market. But here's the thing. Even with all that evidence, the rumor didn't die. Because at this point, it wasn't about facts anymore. It was about emotion, frustration, suspicion, and a growing sense among fans that Caitlin Clark deserves better than what she's been getting in the WNBA. And when people feel like something's true, even the facts can't stop them from believing it. What made the rumor so hard to shake off was that it wasn't built from thin air. Caitlin Clark already has real, meaningful ties to Europe, and the internet didn't forget that. Back in 2023, just before her final season at Iowa, Caitlin and her college team went on an international tour through Italy and Croatia. She lit up the court with her signature deep threes, drawing crowds in cities that barely knew who she was a year earlier. Local reporters started calling her the Steph Curry of women's basketball, and fans overseas took notice. By the end of that trip, European scouts already had her on their radar, not just as a player, but as a potential global icon. Then there's the WNBA's own international agenda. The league has been quietly expanding its overseas footprint, pushing for global exhibitions and partnerships, especially in Spain, Turkey, and France, all countries where women's basketball is booming and top talent already earns far more than in the States. In fact, several WNBA stars have spent off-seasons in Europe for years. The paychecks are bigger, the seasons are shorter, and the treatment, according to players who've made the jump, it's often better. Private cars, first-class hotels, guaranteed playing time, full fan support. So when this Caitlin Clark rumor hit, it didn't sound like nonsense. It sounded like something she might actually consider, especially now, after the injuries, the media pressure, the lack of protection on the court, and the never-ending spotlight that makes every game a war zone. To many fans, the idea of Caitlin taking her talents overseas wasn't betrayal. It was self-preservation. Behind all the headlines, rumors, and viral clips, there's a very real question staring everyone in the face. What does Caitlin Clark actually owe the WNBA? She's the league's biggest attraction. Ticket sales have exploded. Merch is flying off the shelves. Television ratings are the highest they've ever been, and nearly all of that is tied directly to Caitlin's presence. And yet, her rookie salary? Just a little over $76,000 a year from the league itself? That's less than some high school coaches make. Sure, she's making millions off endorsements. Her Nike deal alone reportedly hit 7 figures. Add Gatorade, State Farm, Panini, and more, she's financially set. But here's the thing. Those brands don't need her to play in Indiana. They just need her visible. They need her healthy. They need her not being thrown to the floor every game while the refs look the other way. So when fans say she might go to Europe for more money, they're missing the bigger point. Caitlin doesn't need Europe for the cash. She might need it for the peace. In Europe, she wouldn't be the center of constant controversy. She wouldn't be dealing with half the league trying to prove a point every time she touches the ball. And she wouldn't have to worry about getting sidelined by reckless fouls that go completely unpunished. And even if she doesn't leave right now, this rumor has cracked open a bigger truth. Caitlin Clark has leverage, real power, and she doesn't have to stay quiet forever. Because for the first time in a long time, the WNBA needs her more than she needs the WNBA. So, did Caitlin Clark really meet with a European team behind the WNBA's back? There's no proof, no video, no official confirmation. But that's not the point anymore. Because the fact that so many fans believed it instantly, without question, says everything. It speaks to a deeper truth that's been bubbling under the surface all season. This league might be writing Caitlin's name to the top, but it hasn't exactly earned her loyalty. Between the constant hits, the lack of protection, the viral hate from certain players, and the growing pressure to be perfect every night. Maybe it's not crazy to think she's looking for a way out. Maybe Europe isn't just a rumor. Maybe it's her backup plan. And honestly, can you blame her? The WNBA might laugh this off. They might ignore it like they always do. But fans won't. Because whether this meeting really happened or not, the league just got a wake-up call. Caitlin Clark has the whole world watching. And now, they're all asking the same question. What happens if she actually leaves? What do you think? Would Caitlin Clark be better off overseas, or should she stick it out in the WNBA? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you had to choose the WNBA without Caitlin Clark or Caitlin Clark dominating in Europe, if this shocked you, hit that like button. It helps more fans find the truth. Comment below. Should Caitlin Clark stay in the WNBA or take her talents overseas? And don't forget to subscribe here, because this story isn't over. And when the next twist drops, you'll want to be the first to know.